Arike Ungumbuwale is looking to repeat her magic from last year's Final Four when her heroics attracted the attention of one Kobe Bryant. In this episode of Kobe's Detail, the Mamba flashes back to his own game to talk about how Arike can elevate her play and get Notre Dame back to the championship game. Draft Academy debuts today exclusively on ESPN+. Here are the details on this ESPN original. 8 episodes profile 6 NFL prospects, including 4 potential first-round picks: quarterback Drew Lock, receiver Marquise Brown, running back Josh Jacobs, and defensive end Nick Bosa. And that's where we start, because we haven't seen much of Bosa since he shut it down because he wanted to recover from injury and get ready for draft.
Guy's having a good time.
Yeah,
is he
not?
So.
Yeah.
James Harden.
Yeah.
Smack dab inside one of the great individual stretches of NBA basketball we've seen in some time. He scored 32 or more in 13 straight games.
Say that again?
32 or more in 13 straight games.
Okay, and after hitting one of the biggest shots of the season in a win over Golden State last Thursday in Oakland, he finds himself at the center of the NBA universe. Once again in the MVP conversation. David, is he MVP or?
It's still early. Returns are still coming in.
Too early. All right, so we have more. Our Kirk Cousins with us here. We're talking Bucks and Rockets. That's tonight. The odds on MVP favorites, that's according to Vegas, Harden, and Giannis. All right, so Shanae, while Vegas is betting on them, I know I've talked to you about this, and you say they both individually have missteps, if you will, areas in their game where they can improve. How does that affect their team?
Yes, Giannis.
Quickly, Giannis or Harden if the season ends today?
I'm going with Giannis because they're right now number 2 in the East. They before had one of the best win-loss percentages in the NBA. So winning matters. Giannis has been unbelievable, 26-12 in like 5. I have to lean that way, but dang, the dark horse of James Harden is something serious.
That was quick. Shanae. So the UFC on ESPN debuts this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Donald Cowboy Cerrone takes on Alexander Hernandez in a lightweight bout. Cerrone became the UFC's all-time winningest fighter in last fight. But at 35 years of age, the clock is ticking on his career. Brett Okamoto went to New Mexico to find out what's motivating Cowboy as he fights for the one thing that's eluded him his entire career. Championship football here. It's Championship Sunday. We're almost here. We're going to run the West Coast offense with Sean Merriman. That's a joke for my friend David back in Bristol. So let's get it started with the Pats. They're headed to Arrowhead to face the Chiefs. So which tandem, here's the question for you, do you think will have the edge? And we'll go with Brady Edelman, or do you believe it'll be Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, I think Brady Edelman. I mean,
third of people, the majority were women.
Well, guess started the cheating.
Exactly.
So it's the revenge cheating, and I don't have a problem with it. Now, I'm not saying revenge cheating is right. I'm not saying it solves the problem, because it does.
Like typically,
You do?
Yes,
I would love
do.
to dictate your decisions
Yeah.
when you're reacting to what they did to you. Through it, hello, everyone needs to know.
It's never.
They always come back.
They always come back. It's not a matter of them not coming back.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Your man cheated on you, you cheated on your man. Yourself.
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
First of all,
What is the point?
You're gonna carry around.
why?
I'm gonna tell you. You're gonna carry around that shame.
Who?
You're gonna.
What?
I promise you.
I have no shame. I feel fine. There's no shame.
Shame lying to someone that you are.
It's worse.
It's like, listen, I'm not buying into that, and you should not cheat. I'm not promoting revenge cheating. I understand it is what I'm saying. I can understand it and I can relate to it.
We're gonna take a break to a guy and land. So now, does this make you?
Well, I think that's what's happening right now. A lot of people.
It's not a secret that you're. So to raise your hand and say, I think that.
For me, it's a little too vulnerable to put so much information out there. So I'm like timing out. But in terms of pursuing and being pursued, I'd rather a man get older. I want to know that you want me. I want you to put in the effort. I want you to make it worth. Because how you start is how you end.
There's a lot of dating.
On a date was one of my friends, and she's like, I didn't like his shoes. You know, I didn't like his outfit. You know what? His nose bothered me. I'm like, you 87 and you single, go on a date.
What I would love to see go away is that game. And I don't really finish it because I'll always look like this.
I like, I get what you're saying. A lot of people saying. But I would have to say, sometimes it's people out there.
Don't tell them right away.
Yeah,
30
like
days.
potential baby daddy.
You know what?
Right.
We do that. Women do that. They be like, first date, I want to get married, I want to have kids, or you
You
just
don't want to waste your time, especially if you're.
Ask a man that and I hear a man go, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
To the program for the first time. Last night's The Titan Games premiered on NBC. It'll be on Thursday nights at 8 Eastern Time, in part starring Dwayne Johnson and the person to my right from ESPN, Cari Champion. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So, of course. So let me just start with this one. How did you get your start in the television business?
You know, I was a local news reporter. Remember
Where?
Local Days?
Of course.
My very first job was in West Virginia, Bluefield, West Virginia.
Mine was Redding, California.
Oh, good, great. So we can relate. Okay,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I was a one-man band, which is popular again. They called them MMJs now.
Right.
But I shot my
Yeah.
camera, I edited my video, I did it
Yeah.
all on my own.
All on deadline.
Yeah, all on deadline in
Right.
West Virginia. And I was going to be, I mean, I had it in my mind. I was going to be Katie Couric, then I was going to be Oprah, and then that was it. I was going to be a star. And
Right.
it didn't work out that way.
Well.
I mean, I didn't do too bad. But, you know.
Right.
Not
so,
Oprah.
So which, was it ABC, NBC? What was it?
It was WOAY, and it was an ABC affiliate.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
KRCR at KRCR Television. Spirit of the North State, which was the I guess the logo or the slogan of the station. Raise, and he filled in one blank, was $6.50 to $6.70
Whoa.
an hour.
Whoa.
Skip.
They were just.
Did they do it with you?
Yes, they were
Okay.
doing it with me, but and you know, Skip was very honest. He was like, "There's no real way to do what we do because it's just magical and it's just on TV."
Well, he's also throwing crap against the wall just in case it's anything to do with LeBron.
I mean, and so then he goes, "We try to do the show."
Right.
Or we do a fake version of the show.
Right.
And they were just so pleasant and polite. They weren't arguing. And I was like, these gentlemen, good grief, okay.
That was your first take. is
Yeah,
what
I
you're
was
saying.
like, okay. And then I left and I was like, oh, I did great. And then, you know, they hired me. And then I was like, welcome, kid. It was a rook. It was hard luck.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I went the other way. Good answer. Good answer.
Oh, that is not fair.
You made it. You made it. The Titan games on NBC Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Cari Champion. I hope this is the first of many times you
I hope
stop
so
by
too.
here.
Check it out, folks, please.
At 8 Eastern Time on Thursday nights. That's Cari Champion at Cari Champion. So at her on Twitter here on the Rich Eisen Show.
All right, so Stephen A. Smith and Om Young-Masuk, who covers the Lakers here in Los Angeles, are joining me now on Coast to Coast. We're talking about the state of the Lakers, if you will. LeBron is activating early. There's much talk about him being in the playoffs if he doesn't make the playoffs. Stephen A., first off, if LeBron doesn't make the playoffs, is there a fallout for him and this Lakers team after that?
Now, sees what they're lacking. The issue for LeBron James is going to be this summer. You've got Magic.
If they don't make the playoffs, it's some sort of indictment on LeBron James at all.
That was a huge indictment against Luke Walton. They've lost 4 of their last 5, and 5 of their last 7. The 2 victories that they had, playoffs, and he puts forth a good showing, Kerry, then you got to consider, you got to give him consideration for that. You can't just sit up there and say, oh, he's going no matter what. That's not true. But if he doesn't make the playoffs, you can bet that next year for the Lakers.
But to be fair to him, he hasn't had a full roster.
He hasn't. It's not his fault.
And every time somebody comes back.
In most NBA circles, we all know Luke Walton's getting a bad rap. And Luke, we can't look at Luke Walton and blame him. But Magic Johnson did talk to him early in the season.
Sure.
He is not satisfied with that assistant coaching staff.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, or the Greek Freak, as he is sometimes referred to, has made monumental strides in his game every year. But this season, he's put himself squarely in the MVP discussion. In fact, many would say he's the lead in the conversation. Our Retro Nichols sat down with Giannis during the All-Star break to find out more about this young star's plans. We've watched this team unravel in terms of chemistry, Coach, and I'm really curious as to what you think the issue is. This team was once considered the only real feasible threat to the champs, which would be Golden State. What is the problem here?
Well, first of all,
Obvious, but I'm going to state what most people are saying outside looking in. Last year, they were fine without Kyrie. This year, Kyrie is really in the mix, and he's even admitted there's been some issues for him in terms of trying to make this all be cohesive. If you are a coach and you're listening to Kyrie, what he's saying on and off the court, do you invest in a player like that in the future, or do you welcome a departure?
Well, lead them at least that far. That's the challenge to Kyrie Irving.
How about that cliche, the grass is not always greener, right?
Absolutely.
You're looking over there, you're thinking that's what you want? Okay, you got it, my friend. Be better about it. Meanwhile, I have to ask you this. He says, talk to Brad Stevens. It's up to him. Do you think that this coach with this team, I mean, anything is possible, but can he really turn things around?
Oh, absolutely.
Listen to him in your experience.
Well, I think that they can. Will they? We have about 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Congratulations. And speaking of the Lakers, there was some drama last night. Not really, but there's always some drama going on with my Lakers. Are 3 games out of 8th place, and it's because of the Anthony Davis trade request. We all know that. Add into the mix, there's no Lonzo Ball. So last night was a win. But let me ask you this. Considering what you saw last night, you know the backstory. Can the Lakers make the playoffs realistically?
You know what? A week ago, it
is because, as he said, you can't be worried about distractions or what anybody else is doing because the game is to win. However, I ask you this because I do like the idea of him being positive, but just making the playoffs or just getting into that 8th spot as a LeBron James team, is that a win or is that a loss? People understand it. You talk to a guy like Magic Johnson who's been in the league since...
You got the best leaders and icons in your franchise.
But he came to the league when he was 20 years old. Nobody was babysitting him. I'm sorry, I can go on about
we
this.
Millennials, this is what we do.
You millennials, I tell you. Meanwhile, Chiney Ogumike, you're great. You're going to stick around. I appreciate it. Coming up next, folks, Kyrie, chemistry, effort. We're talking. That's what Kyrie is here for. Kyrie also seems to be over it. He at once said he was the leader, if you will, the veteran of this team of young studs. Now he seems to be a little more, walking it back. So, in your opinion, obviously the coach, Brad Stevens, there saying that they were pressing. It wasn't so much that they couldn't play together. How can this team align during the regular season so they can make that push? Zabit Magomedsharipov has made a big impact in a very short time in the UFC. He's 4-0 in the octagon with 3 submissions. He also won Fight of the Night honors in that one fight he didn't finish. He's also ranked 13 in the featherweight division. But on Saturday night, right here on ESPN, the 27-year-old steps into the octagon against the tough veteran, Jeremy Stevens. He's ranked 6th in the weight class. So from Russia to New Jersey, Zabit has followed a very unusual path to get this opportunity. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to Be Honest. I'm really excited for today's pod show, if you will, because the actor, the extraordinaire, personal friend, he's also a dancer.
Amazing dancer.
He's a director, a writer. The list goes on and on. Josh Jemele, thank you so much for being on Be Honest.
How
are
do you know
you?
I'm such a good dancer?
I just heard on the street, word on the street was that you were a good dancer.
You just get that vibe.
Did you dance in Transformers?
Sorry.
Did
high-level football.
Yeah. So you are a Minnesota Vikings fan, hardcore, unapologetic. What I thought was interesting, and obviously we're in the middle of free agency. Last year around this time, 2 years ago around this time, everyone thought Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Great pickup. You said something, and I want to play it for you.
Ooh, okay. And I want to see that from him. He's got the ability. It's just, and who am I to say? I played for Minnesota State University. But you know, Case Keenum the year before seemed to like go out and try to win these games, not these little dink and dunk passes all over the place. Go out there and try to win it, man. So he's not trying to win it. Athletes are doing it, and I've been having some joint issues, so I figured I got to do something. After I work out, I need to recover, and so I built like this whole little thing at my house.
Okay, is it working?
I think so.
Okay, you feel better?
I just ran a 4.5 40.
Oh, wow. Okay, can you dunk?
I mean a 4.5 30.
Oh, my bad. Can you dunk?
No.
Okay.
Not anymore.
All right. Well, all right. Almost working.
I could try.
Okay, never mind.
Depends on how high the rim is.
So last night, it's interesting, or the other night, Russell Westbrook, let's be more specific. I want to get your take on this again because we started talking about fandom. And I thought it was interesting to see how people react to fans. Like you talked about the Philly fans being so aggressive with you. Russell Westbrook is in Utah. He's had a history with these fans. And apparently, according to him, one fan basically got out of control. And this is his response to hit that fan. And then I want to get your take. So let's listen.
Defending somebody.
No one asked you to defend him.
Yeah, but why can't I defend somebody? He couldn't defend himself. Merrill Hodges got this platform.
I also should tell people you appeared on a show and I wasn't your friend for 2 weeks. Do you remember that?
Say again?
Remember that show you appeared on and I wasn't your friend for 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Because you wouldn't come on my show?
Oh, yeah. You never asked me to come on your show.
Should we talk about that show? Can we talk about? I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you. But I'm looking at them. Yeah. Can we talk about it?
I don't care.
So
I'm here to talk. This show's called Be Honest.
You got to be honest. So I wanted him to come on Be Honest.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to come on Sports Nation at the time, and you were like, "Oh, I'm so busy. And then you pop up on this show on.
I unleashed the Warriors on me. I was like, "Oh, wow! I didn't expect that." I'm just trying to stand up for my, my baby mama.
Oh, your baby mama, huh? And they came at you.
They came hard.
Thing?
What do you
just want to put a white guy in there? Because you're white?
Yeah.
Okay, thought so.
No, I don't see color. I don't see color.
I'm totally teasing you, good grief.
I know. Why you got to make it all racial?
Because that's what I do.
Why you got to be like that?
Why I got to be like that? Josh Jemele, you are a pleasure. Thank you. Long time coming. I'm no longer mad at you.
Okay.
We're officially friends again.
Okay.
Because you were concerned.
All right.
No? You
No,
weren't?
no.
A little bit.
A little bit.
All right.
Little
Josh Jemele, comedian. Tone Bell, thank you so much for being here. So you've paid off all of your student loans.
All of it.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's just.
Wait a second, were you Navient or Sally Mae? Because you said you had it for 13
No, it was called
years.
direct student loans, and then they sold it off to somebody else, and I'm still paying them, and they sending my checks late. And they're like, now they're charging me more because I'm like, no, look, I've been sending these checks out. Don't do that. Don't do that.
The struggle is real, but you're actually a testimony to just put your head down and do what you got to do. 13 years.
A baker's dozen.
Same. It was interesting because, in sports, this guy named Mike Trout, baseball player.
Both sides.
Thank you.
Patrice O'Neal passed. I love Patrice O'Neal.
Oh, really?
As far as like a comedic actor, I'm a big Will Smith fan. I grew up, I remember being like 12 and watching Fresh Prince. My mom was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be on a sitcom. I want to be on TV. And so like that's kind of Patrice O'Neal, Bill Burr.
Not like somebody would say a Chris Rock or Eddie Murphy.
I mean, there's so
or
many. I mean, you don't think you can watch a lot of my stuff and be like, oh, he's an Eddie fan.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, the list is too long for me to name everybody. I mean, like literally, when you start out with stuff like this, look, you've done this where like you take pieces of influence by them. Who am I?
So when you are in this world where you go from, now were you a teacher too? I heard at one point you were.
Y'all just spilling all the tea.
Someone had told me, and I didn't want to. He was kindergarten or first grade. I'm sorry, to me.
I'm telling you, man, first grade tea is like, I'm gonna be honest. It was good. It was fun because all the moms are young.
Oh, bye. I don't want to. Don't tell
look,
me you're
man,
trying to holler.
Look, I was 21, 22.
You were hollering at the moms?
I mean, and soccer. I was dope at soccer.
Okay, so let me get this right.
I didn't play football. My school didn't have a football team.
It's been your sport.
Triple threat.
Okay. Would you be like Steph Curry?
Triple threat.
I hear you love Steph Curry.
You didn't have that on your resume.
I did not have that in here.
Triple threat?
I did not have triple threat in here. Steph.
It's like, no, man, the system is broken. And y'all let him.
Y'all? What do you mean?
Let him.
You mean the refs? Because I don't do it. I
thought you did everything.
No. So you like a guy who cheats. You think that he plays the game fairly?
I think he found some loopholes. Other people have flourished in their careers by finding loopholes.
I do a thing where I ask people just a couple of quick questions before we let them go, and just the first thing that pops into your mind. So, best basketball player of all time.
Of all time? I'm gonna go.
I
love Kobe.
I'm a diehard Laker fan.
I love the last shot. I think I'm gonna ask Kobe.
Over MJ.
I mean, I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for that, but I'm gonna go for Kobe.
Why?
LeBron, Jordan. Look, man, I'm okay with Pippen taking my last shot, but if you ask me between Jordan and Kobe, I'm going Kobe taking my last shot.
What is it about Kobe, this is a whole conversation, that you prefer than Michael Jordan?
I love it.
Okay. You ever love the Lakers?
Well, I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah. When Kobe was there.
My voice went high. I mean, I'm lying.
You're not a Laker fan?
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan. Yeah. Yes, I'm a Lakers fan. I've been invited to games, have not gone to Lakers, is because that team, before Boogie got there and before KD got there, they reminded me of like those teams that organically just came together, like the 15 Pistons. The 2015 Pistons, it was like that team was just dope. They didn't have a star per se. Paul George hadn't like erupted yet.
Sure.
So I like where they were. I mean, then they added some.
Do you mean Pacers?
What'd I say?
We can edit that part out.
No, leave it in there. Always trying to control stuff. I got you.
I'm not trying to control.
Don't worry about it.
I was helping.
Only child. I got you. I got you. I'm an only child, but some of us turn out right.
No, in my mind, I was like 2015.
That's your problem. You're all in your mind. Get out your mind. Get out your mind and be in the studio. Come on.
My bad.
Make me give you a nice leg cross.
My bad.
You get them ankles?
I don't get the ankles.
Did you get them ankles, though?
You know what? I'm just looking here at my notes, and it looks like we're just about out of time.
No. Come on. Come on.
We're
There's some more questions.
Just about out of time.
There's some more questions over there. Come on.
No more questions on this list. Okay, before I let you go, where can folks catch you?
Folks can catch me tonebell.com. I got all my road dates coming up. You can catch me in the new movie Little, coming out April 12th. And every Thursday night on CBS on my show called Fam with Nina Dobrev.
Fam?
Yeah.
Fam. You're my fam.
No, we are fam.
We are fam. Sorry about the Pistons-Pacers situation.
Yeah. We'll handle that next time.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this edition of Be Honest. Make sure you're subscribed to this Be Honest podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or head over to our ESPN app. Thanks again, and it was actually 2015 Pacers. have a hard time with it because of what's happening in the way they're going about it. But everyone, it to each his own.
So I don't think he's out.
I really wanted him to win, actually, because I'm the underdog type deal.
It's not going to happen.
I know. I'm ready. I hear you. Meanwhile, we talked about this before. The Celtics faced the Sixers in Philly last night. Kyrie had 36-9-4 in the loss. There's been a lot of talk about, how shall I say this, his leadership approach with that team. What do you make of Kyrie's statements, if you will? Sometimes he's really on point and he says what you're supposed to say, and then sometimes it's really like, where'd that come from? Question, how much is there to recover, if anything at all, and we'll find out. At least, and obviously Brad Stevens seems to get a hold on that team. So
that West Coast, that plane ride to San Francisco changed their season.
Yeah, that's, all you need is a plane ride to make things great. Zach Lowe, thank you so much for joining us here.
No problem.
Of the year, Kobe Bryant, who received the award in 1996, that worked out well for him and fans of basketball all over. Once he retired, I think we lost someone I say is a dying breed, a player with killer instinct, rare focus, and he was obsessed with the game. That made him great, but it also made him not liked by many. A few years into his retirement, I think we're seeing a more comfortable Kobe Bryant, someone content with his place in NBA history. But Kobe's also surprising us lately. He sat down with Mike Greenberg and revealed what he thinks about the GOAT debate, himself included with MJ, and the player that he wanted to team up with the most when he was with the Lakers. McKay is here to help us break it all down. 4 teams, all within a game of each other at the bottom of the East here. Janae, when it's all said and done, who makes it in and who doesn't, in your opinion? All right, get this right. No lead is safe when D'Lo is on the floor. I'm going to leave that there and just remember that. All right, so of the teams, Pistons, Nets, Magic, which one of these has the best shot of winning a first-round series against the Bucks?
The team with a little bit of magic, and I think the Bucks, we all know what they can do offensively. They're explosive from three-point line, and they have arguably.
McKay, thank you so much for joining us here on Coast to Coast. Good to see you.
Always, Gary.
Music guys, a few of them became business guys. It was like this training that taught you how to, you gotta stash your profit. You gotta make your money, stash your profit, re-up, and get, like it was that type of thing. So
Warriors win it again? I got to ask you that because people are saying this year they're very vulnerable. The chemistry has been disrupted a bit. Everyone's not getting along.
I'm a fan. I'm just going, we're the Warrior fans. It's part of my show. Right. And they go, boo. So the world hates the Warriors. They try to. But if you're a Warrior, we come from big states. And you can't put us in like these little cities with this one little team and whatnot. So I'm like face 25, or I don't want to be no old rapper. All this, man. You do want to be an old rapper. It pays good. It's way better than having to wake up and go to work at 9 o'clock and get off at 5 o'clock and drive in traffic. Way better. So.
I actually, when we wrap up this pod show, I actually want to spit a few bars for you because I think. No. Why are you laughing? I have some stuff.
Everybody has bars.
I have bars. Todd, too short. Thank you so much. It's true, for being on Be Honest. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I want to show you my jump shot.
Thank you, guys. All right, David, thank you for that. I have an update here. LSU has hired Scott Woodard from Texas A&M to be its next athletics director. A day basketball program has been a part of the FBI's investigation into corruption in the sport. Coach Will Wade was just reinstated Sunday from a suspension by all of us stemming from that aggressiveness. These are all observations from one who has covered LeBron since he was a teenager. So, Wendy, joining us live here in studio, I have to ask you, again, the article is up now, and this is basically 5 points that the new head coach should look out for if, in fact, he wants to coach this superstar. You say that LeBron has mastered the art of influence without ownership. Explain what that means.
Yeah, so and maximize his maneuverability.
So I don't understand. You're saying his influences, he would say, I really like Ty Lue. Right. And that's him influencing the decision without saying, hire
That's what's
him.
So funny is that David Blatt's getting ready to coach his first practice. And he says, hey, would you mind if I had a word with the team? Sure. LeBron pulls him off the court, goes into the locker room, has a 45.
Like it's unlike any other superstar. We just are in an age in which we know more about the superstar as opposed to when Michael Jordan was playing, or even for that matter when Kobe Bryant was playing. So to that end, we look at all the coaches that are up for the job, or all the people on the coaching tree. Who fits the best in terms of coaching LeBron? The Lakers, it means that the coaching search continues. Brian Windhorst giving us the insight again. His article is up right now on ESPN.com. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Like that kid. To see Woj's full conversation with Giannis Antetokounmpo, tune in to NBA Countdown, Wednesday, 7 Eastern, right here on ESPN. Brian Windhorst with me right now. Wendy, for those who break bread with him. The two MVP frontrunners, Giannis and Harden, play tonight. Wendy, you have a vote. So if you had to choose right now at this moment, who do you pick and why? And every other day you probably lean one way or the other. A couple of topics I want to hit with because you are here. Let's talk about the Lakers. Obviously, we're in LA. Lakers officially out of the playoffs, and rumors about Luke Walton's demise have been prevalent all season long, even prior to this record, knowing that they weren't going to make it to the playoffs. So a lot of names are being thrown into the hat, considered for the job if Luke Walton gets fired. So one of those was a guy by the name of Jason Kidd. I think you know him. He was on the jump just yesterday with you.
I'll be on again today.
And today, nice plug. He talked about it, so let's listen. Okay, so.
How about Scotty dropping that question?
Yeah. Well, as if he was going to say, but during the commercial break, Brian Windhorst did say whether or not he was going to get the job. He told you the job was hit, not hit.
Yeah.
Kidding. No, seriously. Let's talk about the rumors in this situation. We're kidding. What have you heard about the coaching situation in Los Angeles? Just so we're clear that Jeannie Buss is Team Luke Walton, and Magic would like to.
She historically has been.
Okay.
It would take a real twitch for her to ratify this decision.
Oh God, more dissent. Hopefully they can work it out. Brian Windhorst, thank you so much, Wendy, for your friend. The Major League Baseball season is fast approaching, and every year there are bound to be breakout stars. There's no recipe for when they will hit or become a household name. You just don't know who they are. But on occasion, some are predicted, while others come from off the radar. Our Buster Only will give you a tutorial. He finds out the list of future stars to
Stalking everybody. I'm stalking everything about.
It's like mixed emotions. I do feel like you should stalk them, but there is something refreshing about this old school thing called getting to know you. Because if you look at someone's Facebook page, Instagram, that's not true. Really are. I would like someone to actually know me for me. Call me crazy. Because, for instance, I had this conversation with a girlfriend the other day. See, she's on a date. She likes this guy. She thinks he's amazing. She goes to his all set. She's like, I'm all set. Too many selfies. What guy takes too many selfies? So that's a turnoff, right?
That tells you.
What if he's really a good guy and we're judging him because he likes his outfits for the day?
But it's.
Have you seen something?
Yeah. So yeah, I need to.
But if you don't have a social media page, that doesn't mean anything.
If you have a relationship with somebody, you need to put yourself out.
We're zombies. We walk around on our phones. We're sitting like this the whole time. We're not connecting. And 5-10 years from now, we're going to see what problem that is. I have a problem believing if you don't have a social.
The majority of my grown friends that think that's why we see more older men with younger women, or is it just a
team older man, younger woman?
Ooh.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, baby,
seriously.
classic.
Earth, Wind, see, you just won't.
Hey, that's interesting that I heard a woman say yes. Let me ask you a question to your question.
Right, tripping, man.
No, not at all.
No.
We're enhancing our beauty. Yes, we
That
are
is perfect.
highlighting what we love about ourselves.
Yes.
I'm trying to.
You already got him in the trap.
I don't care. I don't care. Makeup is not my thing. I don't care. I'm very comfortable, literally, in my own skin. Like I don't care. If you're at my house and we went on a good date and you want to sit on the couch and talk and have some wine, my lashes are coming off and I'm having a makeup wipe right here and I'm wiping my face off and I'm talking to you.
I don't want the man at the window.
Take a quick break. We come back. We got one more segment.
Authenticity. That's often the first thing you look for in any type of relationship. In fact, it's what you value the most. And that authentic, trusting, loving feeling is just natural when it comes to a child's love for their mother. Today, professional gamer and one of Time's 100's most influential people of 2019, Tyler Blevins, better known as Ninja, reads a letter he wrote to his mother, Cynthia, in this SC-featured presentation, Dear Mom. So why is it so important that kids stay with sports?
Well, for we have for life, and teaching you things like how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with communicating with each other, leadership, performing under pressure, all those very.
Tell me about your involvement with Project Play.
Well, it's something that I really be sure for children. And sports used to be something that kids go out and do for fun, but now it's become so regimented where parents are starting to kind of inject their own
parents and what they do, and you're right, they're highly influential in what children do and what sports they don't play. Talk about your involvement as a parent. We all know, we see that you're very visible with your daughters and playing basketball. What type of lessons do you pass on?
To think, and when they can think and problem solve on their own, the game becomes something that they own and something that becomes more enjoyable to them versus having another parent on the sideline that's just barking out orders.
Helicopter parents, as they would say. So how have you seen youth sports change over the years?
You know, when many a lot of these kids don't have the opportunity to let their bodies heal, don't have the opportunity to really grow as basketball players or as athletes because of all the pressure that's being put on them. And I think it's been going downhill for quite a while.
Well, we talked about what parents can do to be different. How can coaches do a better job when they have these children in there, actually under their wings, if you will?
Teach, and I think the kids' experience will be much better.
That's a solid message. Get better. It's not
better.
about you. All right, Kobe Bryant, thank you so much. We appreciate your involvement in Project Play and the effort to keep kids involved in sports. Wow, that's great. Our Ramona Shelburne here with us now. Ramona, you touched on this in the piece, so maybe you can help us put it more in context. Donald Sterling's reputation, as mentioned before, preceded him. He'd been doing it for 30 years. Why did that audio tape at that time be his undoing, if you will?
Well, for 30 years, people had known he was like a blight on the NBA, but they never had that. Realize how close the NBA was to shutting down in response to this. Andre Iguodala is flat out on the podcast saying, I was ready to shut this down. I was ready to shut the whole. I've done a lot of thinking about this, like what would have happened if they did boycott, right? And it might have been a bridge too far. Like, I don't know if the league could have then worked with the players in partnership to get this resolved if they would have boycotted. And if they boycott one game, does the rest of the league boycott? Does the rest of the playoffs go on? Nobody really knows that answer. It's an incredible game theory of like what would have happened. But the NBA was very...
A stunning development in Colts camp has left the franchise trying to save a season and still deliver for a fan base. Life after Luck looks gray, but his Colts family, they're actually more concerned about the former quarterback mentally and emotionally. Call me Coco. She's a 15-year-old with the presence of a seasoned tennis player on the court. She won our hearts after she won her first match at Wimbledon against another American tennis hero in Venus Williams. Now granted a wild card to play at the U.S. Open, all eyes are on this next young lady who is up, Coco Gauff. So, was the true freshman Trevor Lawrence a one-hit wonder? He changed the college football landscape as he led Clemson to the national championship by beating rival Alabama. Can we get a repeat? That is the question. Clemson hopes so, but how will he follow up that amazing first act? Our Laura Rutledge explores. So excited. Welcome to a new edition of Be Honest. So I have actress, model, host, self-proclaimed Millie Rock Queen. I'm going to call her the Millie Rock Queen. Be honest. How are you?
I am amazing.
Okay, so I have to go back. I got to give, everyone already knows, right? So if you're familiar with MTV, social media, any of those things, you're a superstar. And everyone, Millie Rock, that's the first thing. But then I guess I had to figure out how I want to be interested in what you were up to because I know that you do amazing things. Yeah, so talk to me about how you would prefer people to know who you are. But I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling good about myself.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. I'm about to Millie Rock, y'all. Taking my 15 jobs and you can hire me, okay?
Yes.
Brittany, Elena, everybody, on Be Honest. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. I'm just going to end with a Millie. It's just, what?
Ooh. Ooh, then we double it up.
Wait, oh! Why don't I do that? What's the double? Okay. Oh. So Zion Williamson was already a viral internet sensation before dominating at Duke and being selected #1 overall in June's NBA draft. So one can only imagine the anticipation building for his upcoming rookie season. The Pelicans sold 2,500 season tickets within hours of winning the #1 pick, and that number grew to 10,000 after Zion was drafted. Just wait until he actually hits the road for the first time. Zion Mania has arrived, and our Scoop Jackson has a... All right, David. So our Dave McMenamin joins us now here on Coast to Coast. And just to put this in perspective for you at home, Dave was in China. He was able to see the situation firsthand. And while a tweet may have started this back and forth, I need you to put this all in context, especially for the viewers. What were the players and the owners dealing with, and what are they dealing with currently?
I mean, nearly a week ago.
It's a date. I'll be there. Dave McMenamin, great job. Hopefully you get some rest because you've been traveling and writing a lot.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
That's Cari.
All right, David, over to you. Of Marcus Spears. He is our analyst. He's going to break it down. So Spears will break all of this down. I need to know if you think right away Jalen Ramsey is somebody that immediately changes their roster and makes a huge impact.
No doubt. No doubt. A top cornerback in the
Super Bowl pick. I heard you say that earlier. They're not going to the Super Bowl, but they feel better.
A lot better.
All right, let's talk about Jacksonville. How'd they make out in this deal?
We don't know yet, Cari, because look, we get enamored with these draft picks, right? We saw John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders do it. We see Miami doing it. You don't know.
Marcus Spears,
yeah, TBD.
Thank you, my friend.
I can't believe you're here.
I know.
I'm still freaking.
You got to see that warms everyone here. But meanwhile, for more on this unbreakable bond between DeAndre Hopkins and his mother, read Mina Kimes' feature on the ESPN app or share extra content on our social handles. You can also tune into the cover story. It's a special airing tonight, 7 p.m. on ESPN2, or watch it on E60's primetime debut on October 22nd. Orlovsky joining us here. David, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Yeah, good to be here. Guys, look, let's talk about Joe Burrow. What's so special about him? Why is he so high on Mel Kiper's wall?
I think the first thing you see when you go into LSU's locker room.
Nicely in college, we'll see how he makes the transition to the NFL. We make the transition to the NFL right now.
All right, Roger Goodell saying they've had some fruitful discussions on a 17-game season. Dan, I'll start with you, but both of you feel free to weigh in. Your thoughts on the possibility of that happening?
17 games?
He's hard to do. They don't know about that. They're just not finding out.
You guys make it look easy.
I mean, we've heard that every day out here. Live TV is very difficult. Thanks, guys. Thursday, get up.
We welcome in our NFL analyst and Super Bowl champion. It's very important that we say that, Victor Cruz. So we just saw the piece. Talk to me about what your biggest concerns are, because the Chiefs are obviously on a 2-game losing streak. So at this point, what do you think they need to do to turn things around?
Well, there's
Meanwhile, Chiefs at Broncos tonight. What we like to do with Victor is a segment called Cruisin' for a Bruisin', but I also like to call it Take These L's. So you got to give me, good name, right? Take These L's. Give me 3 teams that you think are in trouble on Sunday.
Okay, so first.
David hates to hear that. He's a Cowboys fan. But I appreciate you for telling us that. Victor Cruz, always a pleasure to see you in person.
No, not through a screen.
Not through a screen.
Live and in full effect. Cari Champion is here.
Full effect. Take These L's was a great segment. We're sending it back to you.
MLB insider Tim Pritchett here to help break it down for us. Let's go to Tanaka on full rest now with the extra day off. First game out, 6 innings, gave up just 1 hit to a really good Astros lineup. But now he's got to contend with them for the second time in 5 days. What's he looking at here?
Well, the Astros have a great offense.
These hitters struggling. So talk to me about, in your opinion, what changes need to be made to their lineup.
Well, for me, I'm
curious, if you're moving Glaber up in the lineup, you got to move somebody down.
Right. I would take Brett Gardner, who's hitting third. I would move him down in the lineup. I would hit him ninth, put a little speed at the end of the order, and you'd have a guy hitting ninth who hit 27 homers this year. That's pretty good length.
Okay, there you go. First pitch, 8:08.
And locked in. Meanwhile, Bellator fighter Dylan Dennis has a reputation for trouble outside of the cage, but earlier this week he did something everyone can support and get behind. A video surfaced last week online of a Baltimore boy getting bullied in a school bathroom. Dennis was one of the many who were disgusted by that video, and he reached out on social media to offer the kid free jiu-jitsu lessons, which I think is amazing. Even arranged for an Uber to pick him up and take him to the gym.
All very cool.
NFL vet and 2-time Super Bowl champion Rob Nikovich joins us here on Coast to Coast. So, Rob, I'm going to talk to you just from experience. You were a guy, a leader in the locker room, who's dealt with situations where you feel as if it's a season-changing injury or news. What's going to be the messaging to the players in that locker room as they wait to find out what's going on with Patrick Mahomes?
Didn't seem like it would take him out for the rest of the season.
Right. Cautious optimism. He did tweet afterwards. So let's talk about Matt Moore. He does get the start. He's had over 30 starts, so he's not a scrub, and that's professional starts. Talk to me, if you're in that Chiefs locker room and you are obviously Andy Reid trying to figure out what's going on, what do you do?
Play in all 3 phases, because it's not just the offense. Defense is going to have to do well. Special teams are going to have to carry the weight as well.
All right, manage it until Mahomes comes back. And we heard Ed Warder say they probably will be looking for another quarterback. That's Rob Nikovich. Thank you so much for joining us here on Coast to Coast.
I got excited to sing, but I didn't.
Oh, no, you did good.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Please, have a seat.
Can I just say that this is my first time using this type of mic?
Uh-oh.
And I'm really excited.
Okay.
I've always wanted to use this mic.
What does it feel like to you? Like you should be singing Janet Jackson's songs?
I feel like, I don't know. I've just always really wanted to use one of these mics, and I'm really excited.
You've never done that, like on a tour or when you were singing? Really?
No, I always just use the handheld mic, yeah.
W, we're doing things new. We're breaking ground. Okay, so I want to wrap this all up by just giving everyone just an understanding of who you are, and I think they have that. If you have something that you have a project per se, something that you're working on in terms of moving forward, what should people be looking out for?
Oh, that's a good
coming soon. Okay, so I think everyone in the audience, are you guys ready to hear LMA? You're in for a treat. I'll turn my mic. Can you guys turn my mic off? Because I don't want to sing with her. I guess you're going to exit stage left, and then I'm going to take a moment, and we're going to let everyone get just a taste, and then you're going to come back out. Okay. All right. Give it up for her,
Thank you,
guys. LMA! Women thing, right? Is it not here to stay? I think that first and foremost, as you guys know, I'm a bit of a wild card, so I like to have a little fun. If you didn't dance, yes. By the way, I've seen that video twice, every time. Every time.
Well,
so what I have to ask you, you know, as you sit here and in front of some people who know you, you want me to, do you want to switch? We're locked in, kids. We're locked in.
Okay.
How'd you feel about that video when you saw it?
Oh my gosh.
Sarah Johnson, thank you so much for that.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
No, thank you.
That was beautiful. I think I want to end on that, guys. Robin has been nothing but a pleasure. We're just two, and it's not even hard to do. Can we stand up and give Robin?
Oh, thank you.
A round of applause. Thank you.
You're good.
Oh, you won't stop. Don't even. Thank you.
You gotta do something.
We're hanging out.
Hey, Sage.
Hi. We're just hanging out. I feel like it's a group picture. Group picture. Take it. Sister's winning. Oh wait, hold on. We got it. All right, so the general consensus is that they did not do well. First Take, Stephen A. Smith joining us now. First off, you guys had a huge week, a lot of great guests. Opening week at the NBA, you made everything feel special here in LA. So I knew one of the storylines was that the Warriors would just not be the favorites. And I think everyone agrees with that. But after what you saw last night, do you even feel that they can even be competitive in the West?
Well, I think it's going to be a struggle. I believe should be the favorite. Now, I got the Lakers winning the chip now.
So do I.
Okay, but let me tell you something right now. The Clippers, this is LA. This is my town now. And I dare anybody to try and do something about it. And what happened to them last night, because everyone is not the Clippers.
All right, game 1 of 82, manage expectations. Clippers are good. Let's just take a minute to breathe here. Stephen A. hanging out with us. So basically, Russell says chill. It's not a big deal.
He's absolutely right.
Okay, so I'm saying you agree with him.
They're very, very tight. They're brothers. They've loved each other for years. They're former teammates. Why? Because the defense collapsed on him because he was going towards the basket. And you have to contend with Russell Westbrook when he's going at the basket, because about what I saw from him last night means nothing.
And also their relationship is tight. You don't want everybody to read into it.
Very tight. They're boys.
Okay,
they're boys. That's how boys talk.
All right, so I got to tell everybody, make sure you tune into SportsCenter with Stephen A. every Wednesday, 7 Eastern. You see just a taste, and you'll get more of that, 7 Eastern on Wednesdays. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
But they know.
So A-Rod has called him the next generation defining superstar. And today, well, that superstar turns 21. Happy birthday, Juan Soto. So at this young age, he has nothing but respect for some of the greats in baseball. Soto homered in his World Series debut in Game 1. He also stole a base in that very same game, making him the youngest player at age 20 to do both in postseason history. And if the Nationals win Game 3 tonight, he will be able to legally celebrate with a raised glass. But he's arguably been the most valuable player in this series. Let's see why. Oh, the struggle is real. Warriors fans all over struggling. PTI's Michael Wilbon joining us. He was at last night's game. So, Michael, this is a two-part question for you. We know the Clippers are who we thought they would be, right, in terms of how great they are defensively and offensively. But what you saw last night, what did you take away from that game on both?
The Clippers look nuclear. Games. I know you particularly want me to preface.
Yeah.
But you also sat there last night going, oh, my God. We all do.
No, in fact, the Lakers, shall we? Tonight they play Utah. You'll be at the game.
I will.
Tell me what, in fact, you expect to see or what needs to be seen. So very stagnant. I heard Stephen A. say the other day that he felt like LeBron could have had a better showing in terms of his energy and that he was a little lackluster. Agree?
Yeah, whenever he gets back.
Got to move the ball, put Rondo in.
You look worried, Cari.
Well, because I'll just be coaching tonight if they need me. Mike Wilbon, he has a show called PTI, which is pretty amazing. He'll be at the Lakers game tonight, and hopefully we have a good showing. I'm talking about Lakers fans. Thank you so much, Michael Wilbon.
Thanks, Cari.
David, I'm such a fan.
Yes.
Pleased to welcome in our NBA analyst, Chiney Ngumake. She's hanging out with us. We're talking basketball now. I know you watched basketball and football yesterday and a lot of other different things. We're talking about Kyrie Irving and the Nets taking on John Morant and the Grizzlies. Did you see that?
That was fun.
They're best friends. They're besties, similar to how you and I are.
Very true.
So talk to me about LeBron taking a backseat for AD, very similar to what D-Wade did for him when he was in Miami. And I asked you this during the highlight. Look, the Lakers can use him in many different ways, referring to AD, but what would be the
off-ball action? So it's a win-win when you're shooting the ball well and you're the Lakers.
So you're just saying ultimately they're just testing out the lineups and what looks best and waiting for Rondo to come back.
Hey, as long as they shoot the ball well, they're good regardless. They're good regardless.
A championship?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I'm not ready to join the bandwagon, like, you know.
All right.
Shanae hanging out with us all day today. You'll come back a little later and talk about CP3 and Russell Westbrook visiting their former teams, if you will. David. All right, David, we're on to the NBA. Our analyst, Shanae Ngumake, back with us here in Los Angeles. So we've been doing this thing called the NBA mixtape. Normally, David and I do it, but we thought we'd bring in a pro. Are you ready?
I'm here for this.
All right, so let's get to it. I'm with you. All right, so we've been talking about this all show long. This will be interesting. So CP3 and Russell Westbrook face their former teams when OKC and Houston play tonight. And the talk has always been about what those two, and meaning Harden and Westbrook, can do together. But what do you expect to see from tonight's game?
Well, Cari,
to the off the court, if you will, maybe. Will it be weird for Westbrook to see CP3 and CP3 to see Westbrook and the team where they just did a switch and no one knew about it?
No, it's fine. It's fine because if you look at
it is how it
it's
is when
always
you
weird,
face,
but as
when
long
you
as
face
you're
your former
playing
team.
well.
All right. Shanae Ngumake, always in education, always excellent. I appreciate you, my friend.
You.
All right, David, here in Los Angeles, Shanae Ngumake back with us. You look lovely.
Thank you, right back at you.
Thank you. Since we're friends, we found out that CP3 Harden, and you got to respect it, which is why he's arguably my favorite player.
Yeah.
And he also went to UCLA. Plug right here. He had 9 career assists. So tell me that's a high for him. Talk to me about what you saw he did well yesterday.
Well, Russell Westbrook.
I thought I can't.
All eyes on me. I see you.
He was a kicker.
That was cute.
Okay, all right.
I like your costume, the overalls.
Yeah, that's David and
the
Carrie.
bandana.
Yeah.
Swaggy.
Oh, something. She's back, folks. So you know what we're about to do? We're going to talk about some little NBA. Talk to me about what you've seen so far. It's early on in the season, but give me your 3 biggest takeaways. Really appreciate him. All right, and more importantly, I appreciate you. Shanae Ngumake, NBA analyst, giving us the best, folks. Before we go, guys, we have one more thing to do. California love. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can play. That's Thugnificent, is it not?
It's beautiful. That was great. And the pose, you nailed the pose. You nailed the pose.
And let's look at David one more time.
I was not at Gabrielle Union's party, by the way. I did not get the
You know what? Me
invite to the
neither.
party.
And I'm here.
Happy birthday, Gabby. David, where were you? Whose party were you at
This
there?
was the Collinsville Halloween parade, I'll have you know. Yeah.
Okay, the Collinsville Halloween parade, huh?
Yes, it was. Yeah. It's
big thing every year,
no
is it
invites
not?
necessary. Just show up, and you come.
Exciting. You know what else is exciting? A superstar with infinite potential, a legend still playing and making plays. We've seen this storyline before. When LeBron and D. Wade made Miami the epicenter of basketball. Well, we find ourselves watching the duo of LeBron and AD with that same fascination. LeBron, still a beast, but for the first time in his career, he knows that he needs this young star to shine bright for this Lakers team to thrive. So without a controversy at first, epic home runs and a dominant pitching performance equals a Game 7 in the World Series for the 5th time this decade. The road teams have won the last 3 Game 7s, which is significant in a series where every game has been won by a road team. Or maybe it's not significant at all, because who really knows? Maybe Carl Ravage and the Baseball Tonight crew can give us some keys to tonight's game. Well played, nice transition. So Steph broke his hand. We talked about that earlier. A crazy shootout. David just showed us that with the Rockets and Wizards game. And then there was a fight. Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid began with the, traditional pushing and pulling, but then it escalated until a full-on physical bout. But it didn't begin last night. I'd have to say these two have had words on and off the court since 2017. Let's pick it up in the first half of the Sixers to the mixtape, folks. I have an update for you. What really happened with Kevin Durant and Golden State? That's the question. Why did he leave the Golden team? Speculation suggests that he and Draymond Green got into it, whatever that means. Well, now we know what it means. He joined First Take earlier this morning, and we finally hear why KD left and what he thinks about his new teammate, Kyrie. He's being labeled as moody, and Kevin doesn't think that's fair. Let's talk about Mambacita, Gigi. She was actually there for Trae Young. That's what I read.
Smart girl.
Smart girl.
The up-and-comer, the next generation.
Yeah, and she's going to be balling too, obviously. Chanae talking about the Lakers' chemistry. It's coming together, despite David Lloyd being cynical about these early November games. But what are you seeing that stands out about this team, specifically from LeBron, who's 34 years young?
Yeah, the Lakers are getting the best of both worlds right now. Oh, Danny is dunking. I love it.
Everyone calm down. I'm talking to myself. Lakers 11-2, the best record in the NBA. David, I'm excited. Back to you.
She hyped.
I'm hyped. We're all still to come on this 90-minute SportsCenter Coast to Coast, where Mark Ingram and Michael Gallup's great plays fall in our top 10 from Week 11 in the NFL. Plus, Ryan Clark's 3 biggest takeaways from Sunday, including why John Gruden is exceeding expectations and rebuilding the Raiders. Who'd have thought? Plus, Mort joins us live with the fallout from Colin Kaepernick's workout, what it all means and if he can actually get a job in football. Coming up next on SportsCenter. All right, so forgive me for all the Thanksgiving puns, because here it comes. With a 3-course NFL lineup, things will be even more delicious or tasty with some Thanksgiving NFL prop bets. To help you make the best choices on this Turkey Day, let's send it over to our Daily Rager crew with Doug Kazarian. There have been some amazing Thanksgiving performances on this day. We always have some sort of treat. But if we go back in time, it would be hard to argue with anyone who says Barry Sanders often had a standout game. He always had a standout game. Sanders played a total of 10 Thanksgiving games with the Lions, one of the best, 1997, with 19 carries and 167 yards, 3 touchdowns as the Lions beat the Bears 55-20. Fast forward to present, Sanders met up with our Michelle Steele this morning to talk about this matchup tradition. Center coast to coast, folks. Colts wide receiver T.Y. Hilton has been ruled out of Sunday's game against the Tennessee Titans with a calf injury. Colts GM Chris Ballard made the announcement this morning saying Hilton aggravated his calf injury during practice on Wednesday. Hilton had missed 3 games due to the injury, then returned for last Thursday's loss to Houston Texans, in which he had 2 key drops. Well, there is no denying Alabama suffered a huge loss when Tua Tagovailoa went down with a season-ending injury. Now, with Mac Jones at the helm, the Tide prepare to take on Auburn in the Iron Bowl. We've been talking about it. It's a must-win game. Most know that. The good news is that their roster is stacked with plenty other offensive weapons. Our Marty Smith has more. Harder they fall, the button-up of it all. Meanwhile, we want to talk about 2 of the best teams in the NBA. In the West, squaring off tonight, that's the Lakers and Nuggets. So you look at those 2 teams, 1 and 2. Which team wins and why?
Well, I think the Lakers, yeah.
Linebacker, yeah. In the East tonight, defending champion Raptors are second, and they are hosting the Heat, who are third. So which team wins? Same question, and why?
You can't sleep on either one of these teams.
Okay.
You can't sleep on Pascal Siakam. You can't sleep on Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is another.
Summer, he's taking on the role of being their leader, because would you say he's arguably one of the best on the team, right? If not, who else?
Pascal Siakam is the best player on that team.
That's
and the best player on my team of life is here, too. And she did not really want to come through, but we talked about her.
You guys, have you heard of
everybody, my sister, WNBA champion, WNBA All-Star in the building. You know what I'm saying?
We've got the Nguma K sisters here. This is Bassett W. to dance? No, okay.
We're doing it better than Ryan Clark.
Clearly one is more shy than the other, but that's okay.
For sure.
I got the Nguma K sisters here.
It's different.
On the court, she's like, take that.
Yes.
David, we're just having fun in the studio.
We are.
When New Edition performed If It Is in Love, I can't dance, but you get what I'm doing. In the 80s, the boy band settled comfortably in the hearts of many with their smooth voices, but most importantly, their dance moves, you know, the ones I just tried to do. But who would have known that 20 plus years later, in a football game, New Edition would be honored with a memorable Seahawks celebration in the end zone. So from the double dutch to the slide surfing to the drum line, the Seahawks receivers have put together the best routines in the NFL. And before last night's 2-step went viral, Michelle Beisner-Buck caught up with the fellas for a lesson. It's at the annual league meeting in Texas. The investigation continues into a Patriots videographer caught taping the Bengals sideline last Sunday. Bill Belichick spoke to the media moments ago, and it's new on SportsCenter. I disagree. They will not boo you. Meanwhile, the Toronto Raptors are NBA champions. They deserve to be treated as such. But when Kawhi Leonard left after lifting the franchise to its first chip, the Raptors were seemingly forgotten. But some other players, not necessarily household names, have emerged to keep the team near the top of the Eastern Conference. Our Adrian Wojciechowski explores just how they've been able to do it. So the college football season is almost over, but there are those plays from the year that will never be forgotten. Those plays that lifted some teams and, well, it possibly ended others. Moments that can only be described with the excitement and the intensity of a coach calling a play or a quarterback's audible. So for you, we put together the season's highlights. NBA, David. Breezes was interesting, though. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Breezes, right? Like Paul Pierce joining us now here to explain how the 18-game win streak was snapped for the Bucks. Shall we go to the highlight? We will. So, 48 points. What else can he do?
Nothing else he can do. He needs some help.
Yeah, basically. So the Bucks next game in Milwaukee on Thursday against the Lakers, teams with the 2 best records in the NBA. So you said he needs some help. Be a little more specific in terms of now that they're facing LeBron and the Lakers.
Well, they have to play to their strengths. They're obviously one of the best defensive teams.
Did you see that? He wore a Michael Jordan T-shirt after the game, and it was clearly by design. As Drew Brees became the all-time leader in passing touchdowns with a prime-time audience, Brees put on a clinic, completing 29 of 30 passes and a defining win over the Colts at home. Our Ed Werder has more. All right, folks. So the turnover chain in college football is something a player should value. But in the case of the Los Angeles Lakers, it's a concerning trend. I sound dramatic, I know, because I am a fan, but cue the music. Consider this. 19 turnovers in a loss to the Bucks, and on Thursday, that was just the beginning. Last night, another 19 turnovers in a loss to the Nuggets. I could also point out that there was no LeBron and AD. He had to come in and out of the game because he was, hurt a little. But there's no need to panic, as the West leading Lakers have lost 3 in a row. All I say is, folks, please just protect the ball. To the highlight we go. All right, so still ahead on SportsCenter, coast to coast, where Lamar Jackson's ability to escape and Tom Brady's downfield blocking rank in our NFL top plays of Week 16. Plus, RC, that's Ryan Clark, his 3 biggest takeaways from Sunday, including how bad the NFC East really is, but I think we already know that. Plus, Lizzo and how the truth hurts is dividing fan bases ahead of the Packers and Vikings matchup. That's a really interesting story. You don't want to miss it. That's coming up on SportsCenter.
None of these PI challenges are being overturned.
Yeah.
That's not going to pacify these fans who are just going nuts at the bad officiating that's going on in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a Sunday.
Don't even go there.
My bad. See you tomorrow.